What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. So happy you guys are here again. This one's going to be a fun one. We're going to talk about Apple and, what's next for Apple? What market are they headed into? With that being said, guys, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just a guy on the internet. I like to do videos. This is my opinion. This is in no way financial advice, so don't take it as such. But while you are here, while I have your attention, go ahead and hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, the bells and whistles down below. It really helps me out, and don't forget to share this video with your friends. With that being said, let's get into it. So, will aggressive iPhone 12 pricing kill Apple's prospects in this market? And this market that they're talking about is India. And I went on record, guys, I actually had a video, I think it was about a month ago, where I talked about Apple's next big market, right? And they still have a lot of markets that they can kind of jump into. One as such being India, right? Like India has billions, over 1 billion people. It's just like China and as far as size is concerned. Apple, I think they're actually moving manufacturing there. They'll talk about it in this article, but let's go ahead and just take a look at this article and, let's see what's going on here. So just as kind of an update, guys, the iPhone 12 pre-orders are more than double the iPhone 11 levels, right? So I think they said there's 1.7 to 2 million, or they're predicting 1.7 to 2 million devices have been pre-ordered in the first 24 hours compared to pretty much less than half of that on each side of the spectrum. So this is already good news right here, if this is the case. This is kind of what we were expecting. Every 3 years, there's this pattern with Apple for some reason where the next big, upgrade is always something new about the phone. I think like Face ID was one, but every 3 years, there's always this huge uptick in upgrades, and this year is different because they had the first 5G iPhone. So that's always a good, a good sign of good news. But the concentration of this article isn't how many people are going to buy it or like what's the deal, right? Is the pricing of the new phone killing prospects in India? So let's go down here and we'll talk about that. So they say Apple gets the pricing all wrong in India, but I'm going to talk about, what I think and give you guys my opinion on why Apple does this, right? So as you guys know, Apple, in the eyes of Apple fans or fanboys, is considered a luxury brand, right? My girlfriend likes to refer to Apple as like the top dog, right? She goes, I like nice things. Whenever I ask her, why do you got an iPhone? She goes, oh, I like nice things, right? So her idea of nice things is name brand, right? Like really upscale name brand. So like if she has a car, it's like Mercedes, Audi, like she's just that way. And that's how most people see Apple, right? It's like the Mercedes, right? It's like having the name behind the product, right? So let's take a look here. So Apple's brought a 5G device to the US at an attractive price point of $699, right? So this is entry level, but when we're talking about the iPhones, guys, they haven't always been this cheap. I mean, we've had iPhones shoot up really expensive in the past, right? So let's just keep that in mind. And then that's with the iPhone 12 mini. And then the device starts at about $953 over in India. So already you have this huge price difference, okay? And I think this is deliberate. There are some other reasons, obviously. So there's imports, pricing, taxes, things like that come into play because each country that you're dealing with is going to have different laws, different reasons why you have to, pay different prices. So just keep that in mind. But let's continue, right? So this is the pricing markup on each model phone, right? So the mini, the iPhone 12, the Pro, and the Max, right? So this is a pretty big markup. I mean, the Pro's 82% premium over, the US, like they're paying some money, right? So I want everybody to just kind of keep that in mind, right? Like, if you're in India, you're going to be paying a lot of money for an iPhone. And yeah, that can be tough. But I think what Apple's doing here is they're saying like, hey, this is a luxury brand, right? And I don't care where you live in the world, no matter if you live in China, if you live in the United States, if you live in Europe, if you live in Russia, it doesn't matter. The one thing that is constant with human beings is that human beings want to try to prove that they have more wealth and value than the next person, because it's basically an evolutionary survival tactic, right? Like as far as like males going after females, what can he offer you that I can't, right? Or what can I offer you more than that next person, right? This is just how people think, right? So keep that in mind. This is a pretty big markup regardless though. But let's talk about why, right? There are import duties, different taxes that have to be paid. Every country is different, so you're going to get different prices. However, they do talk about Apple actually getting, they could start making the iPhone 12 in India soon. So when this starts happening, you get this idea in people's heads like Apple's a luxury brand. It's the rich person's brand, right? So the rich folks are going to have it. But when you start actually being able to manufacture it within the country and avoid the import duties and the taxes, then you have this already ingrained in people's heads like, oh, I can live like the rich, right? And this is what Apple does, guys. I like to say Apple's more or less, they're a technology company, but their marketing is unbeatable. The reason they're so successful isn't because their products are just these amazing products. I mean, they're pretty good products, but at the end of the day, I mean, a phone's a phone, internet's the internet. You guys realize what I'm talking about. But what I really want to drive home here is Apple's marketing has always been top notch, right? And what they do is they get you into this prospect of, oh, it's going to be expensive. Expensive equals great. Great equals I should have it, right? And that's kind of what they're doing. And then once they have the hook on you, then they can lower the price. It's the same thing that they did with the iPad when it came out, right? They're like, oh, it's going to be this much, it's like $1,000, and then they're like, oh, never mind, $499, and they dropped it, and everybody just ran in after it, like they were all over that thing. So just keep that in mind, guys. I think they said the Apple's online store, I think, is already available in India, and they're going to be doing the brick and mortar stuff next year. And we went over that in a previous video. So just keep that in mind, guys. This is an untapped market. I really think that Apple's going to start taking off, especially when they get these, manufacturing set up here. Once the manufacturing is ramping up in India, wow, that alone in itself is going to, that's going to help Apple in a lot of ways. One, they're going to have they're going to be able to sell within that market without all those fees, right? Like imagine, being able to like sell a phone for the price of the US price, right? Instead of like double. How many more people in India can actually afford that out of the billions of people in India? And then you got to think, once they buy the phone in India, they're going to be buying apps. Apple's going to get commission. They're going to buy Apple services, right? They're going to buy all this stuff. And even if it's like 500 million or even 250 million, let's say 250 million people in India get iPhones. That's a lot of iPhones. Then let's talk about half of that getting, the services from Apple. That's a lot of revenue, guys. So when people tell me, oh, they've hit their cap, they're not going to be able to be valuable anymore, in my head I'm just like, you got to think on a grander scale. You can't just stop at the United States and be like, oh, the United States market's capped out, and there's no way they can make more money. It's like, you guys forget, it's a global company, and there are places in the globe that still have the opportunity to provide that wealth and provide that value to the stock. So I still think that Apple's going to shoot through the roof. I mean, there's plenty of room to grow. But yeah, that's the video, guys. Tell me what you guys think in the comments. What do you guys think Apple's going to do? Do you guys have iPhones? I personally have an Android, but what do you guys think? Like, do you have iPhones? What do you think Apple's going to do? Do you think that this is a fair pricing? Like, how would you guys price this? And are you guys bullish on Apple? Are you guys Apple investors? Let me know what you guys think in the comments. With that being said, guys, I'm going to go ahead and jet out of here. I'll catch you in the next one. Hope you're having a great day, and peace.